We did it! We got to 200 subscribers. Thank you for following along. Thanks for subscribing. As I stated in previous videos, I'm going to do a seed giveaway now that I've reached 200 subscribers. I'm going to give away giant pumpkin seeds for my 1931 pound pumpkin and my 1970.5 pound pumpkin. Follow along to see some updates in this video and also to see the details of the contest. Thank you. It is Sunday, June 23rd, and the 2501 Bernstrom will be ready to open tomorrow morning. You can see it turned, if you can see that in the video, it has turned yellow and the flower has gotten soft. So this one I am going to tie shut now and pollinate in the morning. Current plan is to self this one. It is Monday morning, June 24th. It's about 6:45 a.m. and the 2501 Bernstrom has a nice looking 4-lobe. It's pollinated with 5 male flowers from the 2501, so I self this one. The 1005 Clementz was just pollinated on June 26th with male flowers from the 2501 Bernstrom. It is Thursday, June 27th. I just wanted to show you this plant quick. Mainly I just want to show you this spot. Basically because it's been 5 days without rain, which is what they predicted, but we're supposed to get rain tonight and tomorrow morning. But even after 5 days and pumping every day, it's still super wet in here. It has dried out a little bit, like where I'm walking down here. It's getting a little more firm, but it's still super wet out here. I was hoping it would have dried out a lot more. So as you can see, the plant is kind of lime green, still having trouble taking up nutrients. I did throw a board here quick just so when the pumpkin does lay down, I think it's 4 days after pollination, that if it does lay down, I don't want it sitting in the wet soil. So I did throw a small board down here that I had for some giant field pumpkins, but we'll see if that one survives with this plant in such rough shape. I'm next to my 2501 Bernstrom pumpkin, and I noticed this morning now that there's no rain today. I was checking on the pumpkin and looks like the blossom end has mold on it. I actually think all 3 of my pumpkins might have something like this going on. It's just been so wet and the flowers haven't been able to dry out. I typically don't have fans on my pumpkin and I don't usually have any issues, but I'm gonna try to clean this up, probably scrape off some of that with a knife, and then either get a little fan down here for today or get a hair dryer and try to dry it out quick. So I got this one cleaned up pretty good. I got rid of some of that moldy, rotten looking stuff with a knife with alcohol on it. And I dabbed it with alcohol, and now I have a little fan on it. So hopefully that helps dry things out and prevent any further rot. So actually all 3 of my pumpkins had some nasty looking stuff on their blossom ends from all the rain we've been getting. I cleaned this one up as well, not as good as I did on the 2501. This is the 1005 Clementz. I'm gonna see what this one does before I scrape any more off. I got a lot of the really gross looking stuff off. But yeah, the 1643 new also has had some nasty looking stuff that I scraped off as well. So I just terminated this secondary on the 2501 Bernstrom. I'm going to show you how I do that on another secondary that's right behind me. But I don't know if it's really hard to see. The fence is right here. Now that I'm moving, you can probably see it. But this vine right here, the reason I terminated out this far, it's maybe a foot from the fence, is it's going to easily, now that I've terminated, it's easily going to reach the fence with all the growth that's still there that I haven't terminated. So it's probably going to be pushing up kind of hard against the fence. So I may end up cutting it after it develops. So I typically like to terminate my secondaries when they're small like this. It just, I guess, leaves the wound, in my mind, smaller, instead of letting the whole vine grow out and then cutting it and then having a big open wound in the vine. But all you do to terminate is you just basically take the growing tip here. I'm gonna leave, you know, a few leaves here so they can develop out to the fence yet. But probably after this leaf here, this is your growing tip here. And all you do is you just pinch it off. You can cut it off, but that's it. So now this vine's gonna stop growing because I pinched the growing tip off. So that's all it takes. I am gonna clean up all the tertiaries, the tendrils, and the flowers on this tip here. That's what's left. Because my guess is this vine is going to be probably up in the air because it's going to get a whole bunch of nitrogen shooting to it now that's terminated. So I'll clean all that up because there's no need for all that right now. So this is what happens when I don't find time to get out here to weed for a couple days, or if it's raining or whatever's going on. But yeah, if you can see, that vine's growing into the weeds. This one's trying to grow over the walking board. If you look over here, all these are growing over the walking board or pretty much reaching into the weeds. So I'm gonna hopefully get this caught up before I have to get some other stuff done around here today. So I got things cleared in front of the vines. I still have vine bearing to do. Probably won't happen anytime soon. But that's just kind of how things go for me. It's a lot of trying to play catch up and sometimes get ahead, but we just got our excavator out to do the grading around our barn that we built. So we have to go plant grass today so things don't wash out when we get more rain. In a minute, I'm gonna do a time lapse here showing how I get the board under my pumpkin, get it set up. But one thing I want to show you quick, I did this a few days ago and kind of did it slowly over time. But I put what they call an S-curve in the vine. So the main vine comes kind of to the right of those posts, comes down, and then kind of by where that flower is, it kind of curves over to me, and hopefully you can kind of see it there, but it curves, comes over here, and then it goes back that way. So it's like, they call it an S-curve. At least that's my version of the S-curve, whether it's the same as others. But so basically what this does is gives some slack in the vine, so when the pumpkin gets tall, the vine has some give in it. So it's not pulling, the pumpkin's not pulling on the vine really hard. Hopefully you could see what I did to get this ready for my pumpkin. I had to build it up over that side on the far side there because it wasn't level. So I had to build it up, and then I had to raise that secondary that's over there, the vine up a little bit more. And actually I have a secondary over there that crosses another one, and I'll probably just bring it through. Maybe pull this secondary that's closest to the board over there, closer to the board, and then bring the other one that I crossed over it up through. You probably can't see it very well. But I'll probably make this one, I don't know if you can see it very well, but I'll probably move it over and just stake it down here and then eventually curve that one too. I'll add more sand at some point. I put this stake here just to hold the leaf out. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that. Normally the leaf is on top for me. This one's on the bottom, so I'm not sure. May end up cutting that one off, even though normally I don't cut them off. But right now it's not touching the pumpkin. It's just touching the stem there, so we'll see. But that's kind of what I do to get the board ready. It's kind of stressful, kind of nerve-wracking, just because I don't know, I don't want to damage the pumpkin, but it went pretty well this time. Hi, just wanted to go over the details of the contest for giving away the seeds that I mentioned earlier in the video. I am going to give away seeds for my 1931 pound pumpkin and my 1970.5 pound pumpkin. There will be one winner. So the way to enter is you need to like the video, share it either on social media with your friends, and you need to be a subscriber to the channel. So once you do all these three things, comment on the video with the word done. That way it's easier for me to keep track of who is entering and who's just commenting on the video. So this contest is going to be open to US residents and Canada residents. Last time it was just US residents. This time I'm going to expand a little bit and see how it goes. Contest is open until July 13th. So that's Saturday, July 13th at 8 p.m. Central Time. That's when I'm going to cut it off and pick a winner. So please get your entries in by then, and good luck. Today is Sunday, June 30th. It is about 7:30 a.m. You can see over at my existing patch, that one gets hit with sun probably a half hour or more before this new patch. As you can see, his plant has not, in my mind, I guess, not gotten very much bigger. Maybe these first secondaries are growing a little bit, but it is not thriving at all. You can see there's a dead leaf in there by the crown, and the other leaves are just kind of looking a little rough. I did buy some 20-20-20 that I could foliar feed, so I did that last night. We'll see if that helps at all. But I'm gonna take you over carefully to this pumpkin here. This one should be 7 days after pollination, because I pollinated it on the 23rd. So it's not super big, but I know that they don't grow very fast at all, leading up to like day 20, and then they'll really kick in. I think I'd have to look back at pictures from last year to see how this one compares, but I mean, I'm not expecting a ton out of this plant either, so if it survives, I call that a win right now, unless things dry out and this thing takes off. We're now at my 1005 Clementz plant. This secondary is actually growing really well. For the most part, it's reached the boundary that I gave it, but I'm gonna let it continue on as far as it wants to go, probably. I may terminate at some point so it pushes more to the pumpkin, but right now I'm gonna let it go a little bit further just so it has more plant behind the pumpkin. Yeah, so here's the rest of the plant. I'll try to give you a better look. So I don't know if you remember what it looked like last time, but these secondaries are slowly starting to push out. We had 5 days of dry period, and then we got a decent amount of rain on Friday. So it's been dry yesterday, and it's supposed to be dry today, and I think tomorrow before it rains again. But these secondaries over here, I know for sure we're at least a couple feet inside of these hoops, 1 or 2 feet before, and now they're just starting to push out. So they are starting to come out of the funk that they had, at least some of them. I can see that one over here's got what they call a cobra head, where it's kind of not a big one, but it means it's starting to grow. The secondaries really aren't pushing out that great up towards the front of the plant by the pumpkin, but I'm hoping that changes. Sorry, I'm not trying to get my shadow in there, but whatever. So this pumpkin right here is 4 days after pollination. So, and that one actually's got the secondary growing out by it. So we'll have to for sure let that one go so it takes off and gets something to the plant. That one, if it grows, I'll probably let it grow out and grow a bunch of tertiaries. Just give it more plant towards close to the pumpkin pushing it. So hopefully this one survives, but I did pollinate a backup. These two came kind of close. I did pollinate that backup this morning, if you can see it under the chair there. Not sure how this will show up, but maybe if I'm back here, you can see the plant just a little bit better. So this is the 2501 Bernstrom. I think I mentioned already that I terminated one of the vines that wasn't really growing in that gap there. There was two there, two secondaries there, and one just kind of stopped. So I'm letting this other one go through the middle more, and it, with the big leaves, it should fill it in. Plus it'll give it, if it's not packed in there, it'll give it a little more airflow. But here's a view of the plant from the outside of the patch. This one is still doing really well. I do have some weeds to catch up inside the plant, but they're not my top priority right now. Hopefully you can see that with the sun just coming up here. It's kind of low, so it's causing some weird shadows. So one thing I didn't mention is this one and the 1005 Clementz. I've been trying to push just a little bit of calcium. So I gave them some CalMag Plus a couple times now, and I'll probably do it again today because I think with it being dry for a couple days that it might actually take up. But all I do for that is I put a couple teaspoons of CalMag Plus in a couple gallons of water, and then just try to pour it near the main vine, near the pumpkin. That's about how I fertilize most of the season. So just do the best I can with a watering can. And so far it's worked for me. I think a lot of the nutrients are already in the soil that are taken up, but I just wanted to mention that because I've read and heard that calcium helps with cell division. So I try to push calcium when the plants are small. Or when the pumpkins are small. So this pumpkin here is 6 days after pollination. So I think if I look back at pictures, it's doing similar to others. I think it really should take off here by the next update, at least be visibly bigger, and then give it another couple weeks and it should really start taking off. But I do have another one I haven't looked at this morning, but I think it might be ready to to pollinate tomorrow. I guess I haven't looked at it, so we can look at it here together. Yeah, from that quick look, it looks like it's probably gonna be ready tomorrow. I'll check it later today and get it tied up so it doesn't open before I can pollinate it. But overall, I'm super happy with this plant. I need to bury vines, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. This may look kind of silly having this tiny little pumpkin on this board here, but last year, the pumpkin that was on this board, I had to add on pretty much every side, at least 3 sides, I had to add boards and sand because the pumpkin grew off. This board and the other board that I'm gonna put under the 1005 Clementz, I think are both 4 feet wide and 5 feet long. So I think my pumpkins last year were close to 6 feet by 6 feet, somewhere in that range. So if all goes to plan, this board should fill all the way up. Also wanted to mention that it is going to be July 1st tomorrow, and I have not watered once. That is just kind of crazy. Just with all the rain we've got, it's just weird not having watered yet this summer. So just wanted to mention that. It just seems super odd. Mittens is on patrol at the giant pumpkin patch. Oh, she's off to do her duty. So that's where this video is going to wrap up. thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Please give it a like, and remember to look at the details of the contest and get yourself entered so you can have a chance to win some giant pumpkin seeds. Thank you.